Alright, good morning students. My name is Giovanni Bucknall and I will be your teacher for today. So now today's topic will be the brooding of broiler birds. So can anybody tell me what the term brooding refers to? Shanice? Alright, that's a good definition. Alright, so brooding may be defined as the management of chicks from day 1 to about 2 weeks of age. And it involves the provision of heat and other necessities for the early growth period. Brooding units are designed to house chicks from 1 day old until they no longer need supplementary heat, which is approximately to 2 weeks old. Alright, so what do you, now I need to ask you guys some questions. What do you think makes for a successful brooding area or unit? Jack? Alright, those are good terms, but not what I'm looking for as yet. They're still not required, but not yet. Alright, so first of all, we need a brooder guard. And what a brooder guard is simply a hard board that can be made to form a ring or a circle with ease. A brooder guard, this is used to restrict the movement of chicks within the heated area. Normally, a poultry farmer would place 100 chicks within a brooder guard, having a diameter of about 1 meter per se. Alright, a brooder guard is not required if brooding is done in battery cages. Please note that. Now, the next thing you need is a heater. Now, there are many types of heaters, but the four most common ones are a charcoal or kerosene stove, a hover heater, an electric brooder, a gas brooder, an infrared bulb heater, automatic heater. Now, you can have all this heat and still not be right for the chicks. Without a thermometer, you will burn up the chicks, because it is important to keep a certain temperature so that the chicks don't burn up or get too cold and huddle together and die. So yeah, the importance of the thermometer is to monitor the ambient temperature inside the brooding house. With the help of the room thermometer, you will know if the temperature within the brooding house is cold, moderate, or high. Now, I know you all have an idea of what a brooder is, because at some point you have came in contact with baby chicks, whether at home, in a community, or on mass farm or somewhere. You have been to a farm and seen baby chicks in a brooder. But did you know that there are two types of brooders? That's right, you have the natural brooder and you have the artificial brooder. Now, what do you think are the differences between an artificial brooder and a natural brooder? Nobody knows? Oh, that's shocking. Well, it's simple. It's quite simple actually. The natural method of brooding is used on farms where only a few chicks are raised each year. Depending on her size, a hen will brood 15 to 20 chickens. The broody hen will provide all the warmth required by the chicks. Before placing the chicks with the hen, it is very important that the hen is examined properly and ensure that she's in the best of health, because you don't want the mother to have any parasites like lice and ticks, and that be passed on to the young bird. Now, with artificial brooding, it's a tad bit more complex, because it is the handling of newborn chicks without the aid of the mother hen. This is simply accomplished by the means of a temperature controlled brooder, or it is known as a foster mother for people who are in the industry. Artificial brooding has many advantages over the natural method that must be noted. So some of the advantages are the chicks are reared at many chicks are reared at a time, like thousands may be reared at a time, and they may be the chicks may be reared at any season, not just then. The chicks may be reared at any season practically. But sanitary conditions are easier to be controlled. The temperature conditions are easier controlled in artificial brooding, and you may also set them up on a feed plan. Now you have some examples of some brooding areas here in your books, as you all have been following. So in the first picture, it demonstrates that the brooding guard, as I said before, it's a hard board that is shaped into a circle, but I didn't tell you why it was shaped in a circle. This was done to prevent the chicks from huddling in the corners whenever it is too cold, and they will step on each other. It reduces the amount of death it reduces the mortality rate of the chicks when it is shaped in a circle, because they cannot force each other into the corner and squeeze them to death and all of that. So yes, that is the main importance of shaping out the brooding guard in a circle. So can anybody tell me what a brooder is from based on what you have learned? Tash? Yes, that is. Alright, that is good. That's a good definition. I like that definition. A brooder is some place where you put the chicks to be cared for from 1 day to 2 weeks old, because this is the most important time of their lives. Now, does anybody remember what are the types of brooders? Some of the equipment necessary for setting up brooders? Whether or not it is natural or artificial, you need these equipment to set up the brooder. I just said it, kids. Come on. Alright. Brooder guard. That's correct. You remember what the brooder guard is used for? You're on a roll today, man. It is used to keep the chicks in the heated area of the brooder. Alright, so we have the heater next. That is self-explanatory. Now for the thermometer, that is also self-explanatory, but let's dive into it anyway. Because this to me is one of the most important aspects of a brooder. Because the temperature is key. It doesn't make no sense you have the heater and you don't know what temperature it is, because it is not at the right temperature. They can freeze to death. They can freeze and crush each other to death seeking warmth, or they can burn up, quite literally burn up. So that is why the thermometer is important. So you have, let me just run through some other heating. Let me just give you a reminder of the types of heaters. You have the charcoal, the hover heater, the electric brooder, the gas brooder, the infrared bulb heater, and the automatic heater. Alright now. So as I stated before, it is important for the brooder guard to be set up in a circular fashion, because it prevents the chicks from cramming each other into the corner to ensure that the mortality rate is reduced. Now, if you already have a rectangular space that you are planning to set up brooders in, what can be done on a budget? You can place some concrete blocks in the corner to kind of round out the shape a bit. So it is not a definite right angle in this corner, because that is what you're trying to avoid. So you can put the concrete blocks and stuff them with some feed bags. Now another key thing that I forgot to mention, it is important, very important, that you lay newspaper on the sawdust that is in the brooder. because we don't want the young birds eating the sawdust. You want them to have the feed so that they can develop. And you want them to eat the feed so that they can develop. And the newspaper, if it is wet any at all, you need to change it because we don't want them to eat that either. Only the feed I want them to have. Alright, so we now have a... No, you didn't think that I was going to teach a lesson and not give out an assignment. So the assignment is for today's class, which is due on May 15th, because it is quite a decent sized assignment. So in groups of no more than 2 persons, create a PowerPoint presentation on the importance of brooding birds, brooding broiler birds. Include digital sketches, designs, and calculations. So I want you to sketch how you would design the ideal brooding unit, and design it. So you're going to sketch it on a piece of paper, and I want you to put the digital design, like the dimensions and the calculations. And this is all due by the 15th of May 2020. Any questions? Alright, you may now move to your next class. Have a wonderful day.